Hello there. Welcome to e-GMAT, where we solve every SC question by using our signature e-GMAT meaning-based approach. My name is Shraddha Jaiswal. I'm a senior verbal SME with e-GMAT, and today we will solve this difficult question from OG Advanced by using the same meaning-based approach. Alright, so because we are using the meaning-based approach, the first thing that we do is to extract the meaning of the sentence, and to do so, we break the sentence into smaller chunks and then understand the meaning conveyed by each chunk. So let's start reading the sentence. The sentence begins by saying, when adjusted for body weight. Okay, so something is adjusted for body weight, and when this adjustment is done, something happens. Why do I say so? Because when presents the timing of an action. Okay, reading further. Children of various age groups in the United States have a caffeine intake. Okay, so the sentence is talking about children of different age groups in the US, and these children have a caffeine intake. Reading further, that ranges from 36 to 58% of the average amount consumed by adults. So this part of the sentence is presenting some more information about the caffeine intake by children of different age groups in the United States. This caffeine intake among children ranges from 36 to 48% of the average amount of caffeine consumed by adults. So basically, children do consume a lot of caffeine, right? Anyway, okay, so now when we put together every information in the sentence, we understand that the sentence is talking about children in the US. Children belonging to various age groups consume caffeine in amounts that range from 36 to 58% of the average amount of caffeine consumed by adults. And how this calculation is achieved? This calculation is achieved by adjusting children for body weight. Now, wait a minute. How can you arrive at this calculation about the caffeine intake by adjusting children for body weight? Most definitely, the second aspect here does not make any sense. The meaning is absolutely illogical here. So let's take a closer look at the sentence and try to understand what is adjusted for body weight to arrive at this calculation. Now, the sentence is talking about children's caffeine intake. This caffeine intake ranges from 36 to 55% of the average amount of caffeine intake of adults. So it is actually the caffeine intake that is adjusted for body weight in order to arrive at this calculation, and that is the logic that must be conveyed. Sorry about that. Let's go back in the preceding slide. So this is the logic that we want our the pen is glitching here. Okay, so this is the meaning that we want our correct answer choice to convey. Okay, so this is the logic that we are looking for. Now let's take a look at the sentence even closely to figure out which part of the sentence is giving us this illogical meaning. Now, if you look at the underlined portion of the sentence, nothing is wrong here at all. Nothing at all, right? If we are focusing only on the underlined portion of the sentence, subject verb pairs, verb tenses, modifiers, expressions, everything is perfect. What is creating problem in this sentence is that opening modifier in the sentence that lies in the non-underlined portion of the sentence. Now, I would like to draw your attention to this fact that generally when we begin to solve our SC problems, once we've read the question, we focus mainly on the underlined portion of the sentence, because that's the part of the sentence that we can change to rectify any error that might be there in the original sentence or in any of the 4 incorrect answer choices, right? So our primary focus is only on the underlined portion of the sentence, and we kind of lose sight of the non-underlined portion of the sentence. And this is the reason why maximum number of people go with choice A for this question. Because when they are looking at only the underlined portion of the sentence, everything makes sense over here. Grammatically, everything looks fine. And so they think, yeah, this looks fine. Children of various age groups, their caffeine intake ranges from 36 to 58% of the average amount consumed by adults. So yeah, everything looks fine. They tick it off and they find out this is definitely not the correct answer. Why? Because we need to change our subject over here, which is creating all the illogical meaning in the sentence. It is not the children that are adjusted for body weight. It is the caffeine intake that is adjusted for body weight in order to arrive at the calculation presented in the sentence. So we have to restructure the sentence in such a way so that caffeine intake takes the place of the subject, so that this modification becomes logical in the sentence. That's all we are looking for. We are looking for an answer choice that has caffeine intake as the subject, and then definitely every information is placed in such a way or is communicated in such a way so that the logic of the sentence is absolutely fine. So with this clear understanding of what I'm looking for from my correct answer choice, let's begin the error analysis. And we know choice A is definitely wrong because of this opening modifier. We've already spoken about it in detail. So let's cross out choice A. What's happening in choice B? Well, choice B looks promising because it starts with that subject that we've been looking for, the caffeine intake. Right? So it is the caffeine intake that is adjusted for body weight. So this part is fine. Let's read the rest of the choice. The caffeine intake of children of various age groups in the United States ranges from 36 to 58% of the average amount consumed by adults. Little bit of structural change over here, but this structural change is mandatory in order to present the logical meaning of the sentence. So we will stick to choice B for the time being. Let's take a look at the remaining 3 answer choices. Now choice C we can reject right away because it starts with the subject various age groups, and it is not the various age groups that is adjusted for body weight. So most definitely choice C is incorrect. Now, this reason is good enough to reject choice C and move on to choice D. But just to understand the solution well, let me talk about a few other errors that we have in this sentence. Various age groups of children in the United States range in caffeine intake from 36 to 58%. The entire meaning is wrong. It's talking about various age groups of children range, right? It's not the various age groups of children range in caffeine intake from 36 to 58%. It's the caffeine intake itself by these children that ranges from 36 to 58%. So I definitely have this subject verb must make sense error over here. The sentence is absolutely off. 36 to 58% of that consumed by the average adult. Now, I don't know what that is, what that stands for here. Are we talking about 36 to 58% of that which is caffeine intake consumed by the average adult? Why am I saying caffeine intake? Because in this phrase, caffeine intake, caffeine is actually an adjective and intake is the noun. We are talking about a specific intake, which is caffeine intake. So caffeine is actually an adjective, and that cannot refer to caffeine in this sentence. So we definitely have preposition error over here. Also, the average adult. We are not talking about the average adult. We are talking about the average amount of caffeine intake among adults. So the word average is also not placed correctly in choice C. Lot of problems over here. Let's cross it out and move to choice D. Choice D repeats the same error that we saw in choice A. The subject again remains children over here. Another problem is that we see a kind of a hindrance between the opening modifier and the subject. Generally, we do not accept such kind of a structure in SC sentences, right? So if I have an opening modifier that is meant to modify some entity, that entity must come right after that modifier. We don't need another modifier hindrance between the subject and the opening modifier. So that's another error in this sentence. Once again, we have an issue with average adults consumption. We are not talking about the consumption of the average adult. We are talking about the average consumption of caffeine among adults. So choice D again repeats that meaning error we saw in choice C. Taking a look at choice E, well, yes, choice E uses the correct subject. As you can see, it does say the caffeine intake, but as I told you, it repeats that error of putting a barrier between the subject and the opening modifier when adjusted for body weight, and that barrier is this modifier. It can be placed later in the sentence, but this hindrance actually makes the sentence makes this choice incorrect. And once again, we have the same error, pronoun error that we saw in choice C with that, because again, caffeine intake, caffeine is an adjective, it's not a noun, and so that cannot refer to it. And once again, we are talking about the average consumption. We are not talking about average adults in this sentence. So choice E is also out. So as we figured out earlier, choice B indeed is the correct answer for this question. So now let's review the takeaways. Once again, spend that time up front with the original sentence to extract the intended logical meaning. The sentence may present a logical meaning, but it will contain enough information for us to extract what logic it must convey. So do not move on to your answer choices unless you're 100% sure of the logic that the sentence must convey. Also, do not just remain focused on the underlined portion of the sentence, because the answer choice must fit in the context of the sentence in its entirety to be correct. Okay, so never lose sight of the non-underlined portion of the sentence, because we need to plug the answer choice into the sentence in its entirety to see whether everything fits perfectly well in our sentence. Also, the modifiers in the beginning of the sentence must logically connect with the subject of the main clause if the opening modifier is a noun modifier. There should not be any hindrance between the opening noun modifier and the subject, like we saw in choices D and E. So with this, we come to an end of this solution. Please click on the like button if you like this solution, so that we know that these solutions are helping you out. Also, subscribe to our channel for more such content, as we are working really hard to bring in nice content for all of you. Also, check the links in the description for more helpful resources. That's all for now from Team e-GMAT. Happy learning.